What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Steak and Antler Show with your host, me. I'm Sam. Today in the kitchen, we're going to be making beef jerky. A couple years ago, I was actually diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and so as of late, I've had to start really restricting my diet, and so beef jerky is one of those things that allows me to do that. It's very hard for me to eat anything with gluten and with dairy nowadays, and so I try to do it sparingly. If it's with steak, I'll use butter, etc., but for the most part, I try to steer clear of dairy and gluten. Reacts with my body, and my body does not really like it. So let's get to it. Hopefully this will be a pretty short video for you guys. I've got all the ingredients laid out here. They're all very, very simple. You can get all of them at the store except for maybe one of them. First, you're gonna need your gloves. My hands are already clean per usual, but as an added precaution, we're just gonna wear gloves. Next, you're gonna need a knife, good and sharp, a 1 gallon Ziploc baggie. You're going to need about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of some neutral oil. I prefer to use avocado oil. You can use extra virgin olive oil or even vegetable oil if you want. A teaspoon of smoked salt. This is actually homemade smoked salt. Kroger and Central Market have started to carry it in a couple different wood smoked flavors. About 1/3 to 1/2 cup of soy sauce. I prefer to use the light soy sauce. We're gonna need about a teaspoon of Spanish smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika, but again, just getting that extra smoky flavor in there is really gonna help to elevate this beef jerky. You're gonna need some sesame oil, about a teaspoon of sesame oil. I'm actually going to be using some fermented garlic honey. This is honey that I got directly from a farmer's market in Arkansas, and then I put some fresh garlic in it and let it ferment for about a week and a half. This just adds a little sweet element to it and also adds just a really almost tangy flavor to the beef jerky. You're also going to need about a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, 1 to 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds. These are toasted. Put a light drizzle of oil in the pan, toss these around in the pan until they kind of get a nice dark golden brown. I usually go pretty heavy on the red pepper flakes, so this is 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes. I've got about a teaspoon of chipotle powder. This stuff is really good. It's adobo chipotle powder, I believe. Really good stuff. Just kind of adds a little zing to the beef jerky. About a teaspoon of salt, just regular Himalayan salt, and freshly ground black pepper. 3 cloves of garlic right here. And then lastly, kind of the star of the show, I've got about a pound and a quarter to a pound and a half of, it's the stir fry cut at the butcher. This is beef, and so you can use beef, you can use elk, venison, pork even if you want. I've never had pork jerky, but you can pretty much use this recipe however. It's a very versatile recipe. It's very savory, very sweet, kind of hits all those notes on the flavor palette. At the butcher, you can ask for it's called a stir fry cut. So you guys can see that it's about between an 1/8 and a 1/4 of an inch in thickness. Again, about a pound and a quarter to a pound and a half of this is gonna be great for this recipe. So we're gonna take our Ziploc baggie, cayenne pepper, coriander seeds, red pepper flakes, adobo chipotle powder, salt and freshly ground black pepper. Woo, spicy. Taking our smoked salt, a little bit of smoked paprika, our sesame oil. We're gonna do about a tablespoon of the fermented garlic honey. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Guys, I could eat this just with a spoon all day. We've got our liquids. So we're gonna go between 1/3 and a 1/2 cup of soy sauce. Looks pretty good. Here in the kitchen, I tend to eyeball things. So if I'm a little off, plus or minus some of the measurement, again, it's your kitchen. Feel free to tweak things how you want. Freshly grated garlic, put that in there. And then what I find is best is you go ahead and mix up your marinade just so that everything, as usual, can get well incorporated into. If you get these stir fry strips, they typically come pretty tightly packed together. You're gonna wanna kind of take them apart whenever you drop them in there, just so that everything gets fully coated. Alright guys, we're finishing up the last couple pieces. So once that's in the bag, remove your gloves. And I usually zip the bag closed, but I don't squeeze all the air out yet, just because it gives me room to kind of shake the marinade around. So I think this is well incorporated. It's been shaken thoroughly. Squeeze all that air out. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna stick it in the fridge. You can leave this for as little as 30 minutes. I usually prefer to go overnight just because some of the stuff that we have in here really gets a chance to penetrate the jerky. We're gonna put this in the fridge overnight and we're gonna come back tomorrow and get the rest of it prepared. Guys, I almost forgot the most important aspect of the beef jerky. While you can make beef jerky in the oven, I would cook it on your I would set your oven to the lowest setting, go between 4 and 6 hours, and you want the jerky to be pliable but not snap when you mess with it. I prefer to use this dehydrator. It's a 5-tier dehydrator. I think I got it from Bass Pro Shops for, golly, I want to say about $60, $60 or $70. This is a really great tool. It's got a couple settings here, low, medium, and high. Whenever you're messing with beef or any kind of meat, you want to really crank the temperature because you don't want a breeding ground for bacteria. The jerky that's in the fridge is going to marinate overnight, and then we're going to stick the strips on these trays. They have removable trays. And we're going to put them on these trays on high for between 6 and 8 hours for one batch of beef jerky. And yeah, we'll catch you when this is ready to marinate. All right, everybody, and we're back. Our beef jerky has been marinating for well over about 13 hours. All right, so we've got our gloves on. Oh, that just smells phenomenal. I prefer to load my dehydrator. I usually start with the middle tiers and I start to get that loaded up. Sometimes the heat is just a little intense on the bottom rack, and that bottom rack tends to dry out pretty quick, especially if I'm not gonna be able to monitor it all day. So we're gonna start with the second rack here, and then we're gonna work our way up, and then if we have any left over, we'll put any on the bottom rack. All right, everybody, so we've used 4 of the 5, bottom one is empty, the other 4 are full. As you guys can see, they're all pretty evenly spaced. We want to keep them evenly spaced so that they dry at the same rate. And again, guys, we're gonna go on high for about 6 to 8 hours. I'm gonna check it at the 6-hour mark. All different types of meat, all different cuts of meat will go through the dehydrator at a different rate. They'll arrive at the jerky texture at a different rate. And then if it still has more to go, we're gonna check it again probably every 30 minutes. So we're just gonna put it on high. This dehydrator is gonna make my apartment smell really, really good. I'm very excited for this. So we'll keep you guys posted whenever whenever the jerky's ready. Catch you guys here in a little bit. All right, everybody. It's been about 9 hours. This jerky took a little bit longer to finish. Looks like it's ready. So we're gonna turn off the dehydrator. There's a little bit of oil residue still on some of the jerky strips. I'm gonna be vacuum sealing a lot of this so that I can keep it prepped. Overall, these are a little moist. We want them to be able to be pliable, but not snap on you. And you also wanna make sure that they get pretty well dried throughout. You're kind of shooting for that maybe 10 to 20% moisture content there. Let's try a piece. Again, it's pliable, but it's not super dry. For those of you who don't enjoy spicy beef jerky, just put in less cayenne pepper or none at all. That and the red pepper flakes are really what gives it that zing. Oh, that's delicious. These are really, really so good. Again, guys, super quick and easy recipe. Tailor it to however you want to, but I prefer a little bit of spice here. This is gonna be really good for the golf course or going out hunting and fishing with some friends. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time.